Greetings. Today this is going to be kind of a rant. I don't know why I have to do this rant, but I just feel it's necessary. If you saw the thumbnail, you saw me holding up the movie Captain Marvel, starred Brie Larson. And it's interesting that on IMDb, it's got a rating of 7.1 out of 10, but a lot of the reviews I read are bad. The thing is that all the reviews I read that are bad talk about you're trying to promote it too much as a woman's movie. You're trying to show this feminist angle. How come she has to do all this other kind of stuff? Why is Disney trying to promote a woman's movie? And I'm thinking, well, come on. The lead character is female. It's Brie Larson. People are saying she doesn't know how to act. Oh, so that Academy Award she won means she has no talent? Please. You know what? I thought this was a fun movie. Now, I knew nothing about Captain Marvel. I really didn't. It didn't exist when at my age. I didn't know about it. So I had heard about it when it was, after, Infinity War. When this thing came up and the audience cheered in the movie theater that I was in. I didn't hear anyone boo. And the thing is that all the hate that came out before the movie showed me that we just have a problem with women in this country, men. Yeah, you know what? She called some of y'all out. She didn't call out all men. What she said was, I don't necessarily think that it's fair, and this is my way of saying it because she put it differently. She says, I don't necessarily think it's fair that every movie being reviewed is being reviewed by a white male. There should be more women. And then she ended up having to clarify it because she was, doing a press junket. She didn't realize there was this big controversy. And when she clarified it, this is what she said. She said, what I'm looking for is to bring more seats to the table. No one is getting their chair taken away. There's not less seats. She just wants more seats at the table. What is wrong with that? You know what? Black people have the same problem. I happen to like Tyler Perry movies. I have to admit, I never saw a Tyler Perry movie until my mother moved in with me, and I had to start taking care of her. And she had bought some of these Tyler Perry movies, and I watched them with her, and they're funny. These things are funny. Yet, if you look at the reviews on IMDb, they're bad. And you know why they're bad? Because every person reviewing them is a white male. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. Now, Spike Lee doesn't like them, but Spike needs to remember that his early movies were reviewed badly by the same white people who now he's looking to impress with some of the movies he's making now. And they said the same thing. He's making these bougie movies, well, they didn't use the word bougie, but he's making these movies that just look like they're, well, for their lack of term, too black. They didn't like them, but you know what? Black audiences liked them. Tyler Perry makes these movies. Every single movie the guy has made a profit. He has never lost money on a single movie. How many directors can really say that? Not a lot. So the guy makes these movies for his specific audience. And a lot of the reviews I've read by these white males are saying, well, he's trying to fit too many things in there. Well, this doesn't play up to the audience, whatever. Yes, they do. My goodness, the guy has done well. And he's had some great talent in these movies. Yeah, are they a little over the top sometimes? Yes. But can black people say that they don't know anyone like some of these people? No. And they're funny. And she's absolutely right. There needs to be more inclusion. I'm all about inclusion. I have no problem with regular white movies. Let's just say it that way. I mean, I had no trouble with Marvel movies. I never sat there saying there needs to be more black people in these movies because I enjoyed the movies. I was glad when finally you started seeing more black people in these movies. I wasn't mad when they started having a few more female characters because they didn't have all that many in them that were strong personalities. Thank goodness for Scarlett Johansson, but let's face a fact here. Homegirl was pretty much by herself. I didn't hear those same people griping then about there being too many people talking about we need more more women in these movies or whatever because they weren't there. Someone needs to stick up for those who are disenfranchised. I understand that Phase 4 is going to have an Asian character. That works well. I mean, I don't know anything about the character or whatever, but I heard that. Then someone said we need to have a Hispanic superhero. I don't know how these things work. I don't know any of these characters. But you know what? There needs to be more. There needs to be this thing about a bit of cultural appropriation. Now, I'm older, so I will tell you the truth. I don't go along with everything that people say when it comes to cultural appropriation. Yet when I was younger, I certainly did. When there were all these white artists doing this music that black artists had written and not trying to give them any credit for the fact that someone else had written it and performed it before them. And then they started getting called on it. Eventually, I didn't like it in my 20s. I'm going to be 60 this year. I am not one of those people who beats up on everything, but sometimes there's something going on that I'll sit there and say, oh, come on. You know that you took this from something where the lead character was Chinese and you have a white person in it. What is wrong with you? You can't just keep doing things like that. That's just stupidity. And then you know who doesn't necessarily mind all the time? White males. Because they want it all sometimes. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying this happens a lot. This is the thing about diversity. You need to have everybody represented so that everyone can have a say. And you have that one person or maybe two people or maybe five people who will sit there and tell someone, you know, that's probably a bad thing. I have never seen the movie Peter Pan. However, last week I was at a restaurant for lunch and they put on, you know, kids' movies in the background and they decided to put on Peter Pan. And so I'm sitting there eating my food and I hear a song that says something about, and that's why the red man is red. And I'm like, wait, what? What did I just hear? What is that? And they're doing this stereotypical Indian thing. I'm like, oh my God. And the thing is, it was made in 1953, which was still after a time period where folks should have known better. And so I mentioned this on Facebook and someone came back to me and said, you know, you should look up a little bit more about this Peter Pan thing. So I did. And it turns out that the name of the Indian tribe in Peter Pan was the Pickaninny tribe. If y'all don't know why that's offensive, you need to go look that up. It didn't just affect or insult Native Americans. It insulted black people. It just did. And I understand they're not re-showing this movie or reselling it out, putting it out there anymore, just like they had to stop Song of the South. Another bad idea of a movie. I also understand that in the original Aladdin, the cartoon, that first song was pretty racist, but most people missed it. And they clarified that in the live version of it. They took that song out, totally changed it. You just have to have this. You know, you really need to have a little bit more diversity. We need to stop beating up on somebody or something because we have preconceived notions of immediate hate. It just has to stop. You know, I used to bowl, and I was a pretty good bowler. Matter of fact, back in the day when I was a kid, usually early in the season of a bowling league, I was really good. I would end up in national magazines. Now, I would get passed pretty soon, but early on, you know, it used to be great. We'd get this magazine once a week, and I'd be like, hey, my name's in the magazine. Within a month, I wouldn't be there anymore. But, you know, I wasn't bad. I was better than most of the kids in where I was, but I wasn't great. You know, I was a military kid. You know, we didn't have, like, pros on the base. However, many years later, I'm in college. And I'm doing okay, but there's people who are better than me. And we go to this bowling tournament. And there's this young lady named Cindy Coburn. Now, Cindy Coburn was the cutest thing. She was really attractive. But you know what she was? She was great. Her mother was a professional bowler. And she was bowling for the University of Buffalo. And I just loved how she bowled. I loved her style. And I said, you know what? That is my style. I need to bowl after her. I'll never be Earl Anthony. I'm certainly not going to be Nelson Burton Jr. or Pete Weber. I'm not going to be any of those guys, but I can be like her. Her style fits for me. And you know what? My bowling average went up 10 pins just by going after her. Just like saying, I'm going to do exactly what she does. You know, we can learn from everybody. This is the thing about inclusion. This is the thing about diversity. Sometimes you need a different perspective, or you need to see how someone else is doing something so that you can be better, so you can make things better. That's what I think we need a lot more of in this country. And you know what? There's going to be some people who are going to kind of hate this if they ever watch it. They're going to hate on it. I did a review of this movie way back when, and it was a very short review, and it got a dislike. It got one of those thumbs down. No one commented on it, but it got it. There was an article on Flipboard last week, and it was talking about Brie Larson and how it showed that the people she worked with on both Captain Marvel and in Endgame liked her. He even showed all these pictures. And this guy said, well, no, they were just doing that, her and her liberal agenda. I'm like, oh my God, what, again? That's the best you have? And so I said something to the guy, and he came back, and he was vulgar about her by saying it wasn't sexist. I'm like, dude, you just tried to defend your position saying that you weren't being sexist, and look how crude you got. That's the most sexist thing ever. He said, well, you must be a liberal also. We're just in a bad place. She's right. I'm right. Everyone else may think they're right. If you don't believe that there needs to be more diversity, you're in the wrong place. And you're about to get passed. By 2030, white America is not going to be the majority in this country. Think about that. That's all I got to say. My little rant. She's right. Talk to y'all next week.